The nightmare becomes reality. Gunmen, bullets, screams, chaos. There's an active shooter at your workplace. What do? If a shooting does occur in your apartment community or office, swift action is critical. This is because most active shooter situations are unpredictable and evolve quickly. They're usually over within 10 to 15 minutes before law enforcement arrives. With this in mind, you must be prepared, both mentally and physically, to deal with the possibility of an active shooter. Before we get to the specifics, I want to point out something. I'm giving you general information on what to do in case of an active shooter. Make sure the decisions and plans you make are approved by your corporate office, and be sure to work with law enforcement to develop the specifics. Remember, these unfortunate incidents can happen anywhere. To begin, here are 2 things you can do right now. 1. Create an active shooter action plan. And 2. Train those in your office and community on the plan. With the plan, your first step is to reach out to a local law enforcement agency, your police department or sheriff's office, for example. You'll need to partner with law enforcement to create the plan. As for the details of the plan, you want to answer the most important questions ahead of time. What is the fastest way to evacuate the building? Do you have an emergency notification system to alert everyone in your office or community? And do you know what exactly you would say when you notify the group? Once you have a plan, you'll move on to looking at training your community on the plan. The best type of training is conducting mock active shooter training exercises. Before setting up your training, you should check with your corporate office about how they've handled this type of training before. Active shooter training sounds like a daunting task, I know. You'll work with law enforcement on this. They're an excellent resource in designing training exercises. Training can answer life-saving questions like, what do gunshots sound like, and where are the nearest exits? Outside of creating a plan and doing training, there are other ways to be as prepared as possible for an active shooting. For instance, make sure your building has at least 2 evacuation routes, and post the routes in conspicuous locations throughout the facility. Awareness is also key. Remember the saying, if you see something, say something? Follow it. If something strikes you as suspicious, don't dismiss it. Act on it. Pay attention to your environment. Acting on your instincts can save lives. Mental preparation cannot be underestimated. You want to remain calm and adopt a survivor mindset. Tell yourself, we're prepared, and we will survive. If you're panicked and expect the worst, you may not make smart choices when it's time to act. For detailed information on creating a plan, notification system, and other preparations, reference the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Active Shooter Booklet. You can download this booklet in the resources section of this class. Now let's imagine tragedy strikes. If there's an active shooter, what do you do first? Call 911? Confront the shooter? The correct answer is run. Once you are in a safe spot, then it's time to call 911. To help you remember what you should do, the Department of Homeland Security recommends a 3-word plan: run, hide, fight. This approach should be emphasized in training and other preparedness efforts. To get more detailed information on run, hide, fight, please review the Active Shooter booklet available. Then you see the surreal: people wounded from the shooting. How can you help? Take care of yourself first, and then you may be able to help the wounded before first responders arrive. If those injured are in immediate danger, help get them to safety. While you wait for first responders to arrive, provide first aid. Apply direct pressure to wounded areas and use tourniquets if you have been trained to do so. Turn wounded people onto their sides if they are unconscious and keep them warm. Law enforcement arrives. How should you respond? There are several things to keep in mind. Keep your hands visible and empty. Know that law enforcement's first task is to end the incident, and they may have to pass injured people along the way. Officers may be armed with rifles, shotguns, or handguns, and they may use pepper spray or tear gas to control the situation. They may shout commands and push individuals to the ground for safety. Follow law enforcement instructions and evacuate in the direction they come from, unless otherwise instructed. The shooting ends. Everyone is in a state of shock. Try to remain calm. Remember that survivor mindset, and reference your active shooter training and plan as you contemplate next steps. Don't expect life to return to normal for a while, if ever. Surviving this type of horrific event is often traumatic. Seek professional help for those in your office and apartment community. Let's review the key things we've learned. You should create an active shooter plan and train those in your office and community on the plan. In the event of an active shooter, recall the 3-word action plan: Run, hide, fight. When law enforcement arrives, don't be alarmed by their tactics. Follow their instructions. The road ahead may be long. Healing takes time and work, and compassion. Grow cares about you and your safety and hope you took something valuable away from today's lesson. We hope you continue to grow with us.